Seems that we have a few people here that do not want to hear about the star families, extraterrestrials, my encounters with extraterrestrials. They seem to think that they're better than anything and everyone else and anything that's not of this planet, which they don't know that we're not the only ones on this planet. There's inner Earth, there's deep within the sea, the things that we have not ever seen before, but they seem to not want to hear what I have to say. These short attention span mother suckers. Well, those that really like watching long informational videos, then you're on the right channel. I try to bring something educational for everyone to hear, and even a lot of um, good information. But there are some people that just don't want to hear it because people believe what's in the Bible is supposed to be what they speak about those that are not from this earth is evil. You're right. But you know what? There's good and evil in everything. It's a duality, yin and yang. But you're on this planet, and beneath your feet is some of the most evilest beings on this planet. And guess what? They're extraterrestrial. They're not demons like you think they are. But there are some that are evil, that are half angel and half, or if you want to call it angel, and humans. And these beings are called Nephilim. They're tall, they're big, they look like Neanderthals. Some of them have one eye and some of them have two eyes. But it really angers me that people don't want to hear what I have to say when it comes to extraterrestrial and my experience or my encounter of extraterrestrial. That really bothers me because you can listen to what I have to say about spiritual and holy, but you can't listen to me about star brothers and sisters. This kind of thing bothers me because these beings, there are good and evil just like there is here on this earth, just like in every dimension, every galaxy, there's good and evil. You ever wonder why they tell you not to use crystals here on this earth? Because they have fallen ones that are in the Euphrates, under the Euphrates River. This is why they tell you not to use the crystals of this earth. Because it's tainted with evil. But my story is not good enough for those short attention span mother suckers. Because nobody clicked on it to even listen to what I had to say of my encounters. But that's cool. That's okay. When the government get done destroying this place, because the Star people are always disarming their nuclear warheads. Even when they sent some off to, and this was Kim Jong Un sent off missiles to Hawaii to start a war, and the Star family shut that down really quick. But you don't want to. People don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear How many times that these beings have saved this planet to keep not just this planet, but the other planets in the galaxies from a backlash? But people don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear how many times that this earth has been saved by star families because they're trying to preserve this place. But while the government is steady trying to destroy it, steady trying to um, do all kinds of crazy things, they don't want to hear that. They just don't want to hear that. They they don't want to hear that. So what I'm saying is that my experiences and what I've been through and what I've seen and what has been told to me, nobody wants to hear it. But since you all that are here that like watching longer videos and getting information and maybe something I've been through, you probably experienced and you'd be like, oh, that's what that was. When I was sent to the country to work on my awareness, this is where I went and I first saw my first encounter with extraterrestrial family. Now, um, something told me to start taking pictures in my room. So I started taking pictures. And I did this for like maybe a couple weeks, week and a half to 2 weeks. I would start taking pictures. But before this, when I first got to my best friend's place, um, the first night when I laid down, this is when I knew I wasn't alone. When I laid down, I could feel the bed moving. I could feel things in it. I could feel things, because I'm not used to laying in a bed. I was always laying on a futon. So I'm not used to laying in bed. So at that point, I didn't know that there was other beings, like ancestors and guides and all these other beings. I didn't know that they were there. But no sooner than I got there, um, to my best friend's place, I was sleeping in the bed, laying in the bed, and all of a sudden I started feeling the bed moving. So I was kind of scared. So I had her come and lay in the bed with me until I fall asleep. So this went on for a while until I started figuring out what and who it was. I started communicating with my ancestors, and I started letting them know where they are, what they're doing, what side they're on. I can feel them all around me, and this is when my awareness was very, very heightened, and especially when you're in a place where it's nature. So this is when I knew that my attention span was longer, but my awareness was at its heightened peak. So something told me to start taking pictures. So I started taking pictures. And lo and behold, one of those nights I took a picture. There was, and mind you, at this point I was starting to see in the different realms at this point. All of a sudden one night I was taking a picture and I saw a female in the picture holding a baby, and there were people all in the background behind her. And it was an Arcturian female, but there were other humanoid human beings, like human features and everything, behind her. But a she was an Arcturian female holding a baby. The baby was humanoid face as well, but she was holding the baby. This is my first encounter with extraterrestrial. They came to me in a hologram. This is my first encounter. So things keep progressing. I keep, doing what I'm doing. But I've only took this picture like once. See the demons trying to stop me, devil or Nephilim or whatever, with all this banging outside my window. What I want to say, I lost my train of thought listening to this guy banging outside. So I continued doing what I was doing. I started. What was I want to say? And this person really made me lose my train of thought. Um, let's see. I started asking for things, the history from the sun, the history from the earth. But when I received what I asked for, it wasn't the way that I expected to receive it. And what's written in the Bible about the white stone, and in it will be written a name, and only that person that receives the white stone is the one that knows that name. I received that as well. And I received that immediately. The very next day, I had that white stone. And then one time, I got to the point to where I knew that I had to send my ancestors. I had to help them to the other side. So when I did that, a few months later, I'm looking up in the sky and I see them, my ancestors, show themselves to me. And I mean, these were beings with wings. And soon after that, the whole entire sky blanketed up above my head. You can see lights that are twinkling, going off and on, off and on, off and on. And they were flying and they blanketed the entire sky up above my head. This was my second encounter with Star Family. I don't want to call them extraterrestrial, call them Star Family. But these were the chariots that flew up over my head. My next encounter, I was determined to do Qigong on the internet. I was seriously determined to do Qigong. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So I was seriously determined to do qigong, and I had this in my notion in my head as I'm sleeping in my cousin's car, and I'm like, I'm getting ready to do qigong. But before that, let me go to this part first. Um, when I was working in this shop, I'll get to that. I'll get to what I was going to say a minute ago. Um, but I was working in this shop doing healing, and this girl came, and I was looking for something that was very rare, extremely rare. I always look for something like something just kept saying I'm supposed to receive something that was like in a coin form or something like that, or it was like something that was really, really rare. And I kept seeing this in my mind's eye that I was going to see something that I was going to receive something really, really rare and nothing nobody ever would ever seen it before. So I'm looking and looking and looking because this lady, she had a lot of stuff that was like old antique stuff, and it was like jewelry and stuff like that. The one who owned the shop. So, but it's like looking and I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. So this girl came in and she had this metal meteorite stone. And so she gifted it to me. And one night I'm in the bed and I'm thinking, and I wanted to find something to use for my healing work, to assist me in my healing work. And the metal stone that I put it on a necklace. It had like a hook on it. So I put like a ring on it and I put it on my necklace. And that day I was thinking, well, maybe I can use that and incorporate it in something I would create. Nope, that didn't happen. The very next day I woke up, the meteorite metal stone was gone off my neck. The ring, prestige, Tamil didn't even look like it was touched. And it was gone. Nowhere in the car, nowhere. I looked in the car backwards and forwards, all in the seat, everything. I looked everywhere for that metal. This thing was the little hoop that was inside it was the piece of the metal of the stone. So that's what I hooked the ring on. There was nothing put inside of it to make it like that. It was already on the metal. It was already, it had a little loop thing on it, but it was a part of the stone. And it just looked prestige. Like not the ring had not been moved, had not been touched, nothing. The stone was gone. Because I had this in my mind, I'm gonna make this tool, and this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I had in my mind, that I was gonna make this tool. And the tool that I made was this wand that I use when I work. But they took that tool from me. They took that stone. They took that metal piece from me that was not from this earth. They took it from me. So that was my second encounter. My third encounter, I knew I was gonna do qigong, and I was gonna do a video. I had this in my plan. These beings know what you're gonna do before you even do it. I mean, they already know because they can read minds and telepathy. And these beings knew that I was gonna just like they knew I was gonna use that metal for that. But see, I think the reason why they took that metal is because maybe it was going to cause some kind of radiation. And I think this is the reason why they took it for the wand. But I was going to get online, I was going to get on Facebook, and I was just going to do this Qigong. I was going to do Qigong online. And this was because I wanted to let people know exactly how serious I was about my work. And I had in my mind, nothing's going to stop me. Now, come that day for me to do Qigong, I had a, what do you call it, a portable charger. So I knew my phone was completely charged up, everything completely charged up. As soon as I go to start trying to do work and I'm at the park and I set up my tripod, everything, and I'm getting ready to start doing my Qigong and the phone just shut off. I was like, what? It was fully charged. I look at the phone, it was dead. I was like, wow. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I tried to power it back up, it went dead again. I said, they ain't even trying to stop me. Plugged it up with I used the bank. I used the power bank. And so I'm filming and no one can see my video. No one can see me doing energy, nothing. Because they shut that off too. They burnt my phone. They burnt the battery. They burnt the battery. The next thing you know, I'm watching this person on YouTube, and I started explaining to her what happened. But I also sent her a picture that I drew that my ex false flame was telling me about something. And I drew what she was trying to show me. I drew it and I sent it. I texted over to this woman, and she said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "Well, my ex told me she saw this and that." And she's like, "Oh yeah." She said that you're highly loved. They didn't like that I was trying to perform energy on social media. This is the reason why they shut my phone down. But she said the very next day, she said, the very next day, she said, what was it? What did she say? Oh yeah, no, she said that I was well loved, I was well cared for and looked after. I didn't know what that mean, but then she said, after the end of the conversation, she said that she can't. She thinks she said too much. And during this conversation, our feed kept getting cut off. So finally, she just talked to me because she was trying to video chat with me, but it kept cutting off, kept cutting off. So finally, she said to me, "I think I talked too much. I said too much." After then, no more correspondence between me and her. But that very next day, I see two ships playing around, dancing, doing things that we don't have here that move like that. I see two of them. That was my third encounter. No, my fourth encounter. 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm out of the car just before sun comes up, and I'm walking walking, and I get up and I walk the neighborhood. And when I walked the neighborhood, I looked up and I saw in the cloud form, in the clouds, I saw a streak in the clouds, but it was making a triangle. This was at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was my fifth encounter. Then after that, another encounter, sixth encounter. By this time, I moved in with my ex-false flame. Um, I'm in between. I'm in the what is it? I'm in between um, quaking state and awake, and I see this. And I can see the clouds. It's daylight. I can see the clouds. And as I'm waking up and I'm in between quaking state and awake, I see three dots of lights in a triangle form, which means I was being dropped off that morning. It was a sixth encounter. Seventh encounter. I'm in Satan's kingdom. By Claire Audio, I was told to continue out what I was told to, what I drew the first time when I talked to the woman in England. She told me I was well loved. When I was in Satan's kingdom, I was told to complete it, drawing out what was sent, what was shown to me, what was told to me. I completed it the very next morning. Not the next morning, but I woke up in the middle of the night or the middle of the morning when it was still dark, and I was being held down. But in my mind's eye, my head was pushed to the right, and it was like held down. So, and it's like I was, what do you call it? Um, Basically, when you're being held down, I just can't think of the name of it right now. Sleep paralysis. That's what it is. I was in sleep paralysis. So when I woke up, in my mind's eye, what I can see is as if you're looking at a face that's turned to the side, but in my mind's eye, I can see my face. Well, I couldn't see my face, but I could see this part right here. And I could see the mouth opening like this on the side, but you could see jagged teeth. But I knew it was the face of a lion that was being held down. And you could see the teeth just start to show and the mouth start to open from the side. So I broke sleep paralysis, and I was gonna try to lock up the arm of the being that had me. And when I locked up the arm, it's like a balloon full of water. You just take a needle and you just pop it, and it just poof, and it just dropped. So what I heard was, if you ever blew through a crinkle straw, the plastic one has a little crinkles in it. It's a bunch of little lines, little crinkles. This is what the beings sound like when I grabbed it, and basically was saying like we put someone in the arm bar, and it made that sound. And that was my last encounter with star people because I broke sleep paralysis at that point, and I want to say that was my last contact with with star family. I don't want to call it extraterrestrial. With star family, that was the last encounter. But I had other encounters, but they were in the etheric world when I was, on ships and stuff like that, things of that nature. And this happened a lot when I was in, um, a couple times when I was in Satan's kingdom. I was on ships and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that was my encounters with. I've had a physical encounter, and I want to say when I was 17, I had an encounter with a gray, but this gray had a hood on him. But something told me to wake up. In my mind's eye, I can see a long, sharp nail, like right on the side of my temple. This is what I saw in my mind's eye. And I was in sleep paralysis. I couldn't move. And all I could do was move my eyes and look to the side. This was my very, very first encounter with, um, at this point, I'm going to say extraterrestrial because I believe this was a gray. I was in sleep paralysis. I couldn't move. I could only move my eyes. And I looked to the side. I could see this being standing up over me. But we were on bunk beds. And I was on the top bunk bed. Top bunk bed. And this being just glided out the room, opened the door, shut the door. And my aunt was in the living room. And it was late at night. She was watching TV. And so when I was able to get, when I was able to be loose, from the sleep paralysis, I got up and I ran in the living room and I said, Auntie, did you see anybody come out of the room? She said, No, I've been here watching TV the whole time. I was like, oh man. I didn't tell her about it. I didn't say anything, um, but the next thing that was it. But when I told other people about it, they were like, "Oh, that was a demon." You know, any church person will say something like that and not know exactly what's going on. Because that's what they call these extraterrestrial beings. They call them demons, but these are not demons. These beings are from other worlds, but they're coming through portals. That's just how they moving around because any real true star family being is not going to travel through portals. They're going to travel through ships through the galaxies. They're not going to travel through portals. Those that use portals, those that use gates, they're demonic. They are beings, but they're not beings of good intentions, so to speak. So they have an agenda. Let's just put it like that. They have an agenda. But now that I think about it, that makes sense. That really makes sense. Now that I really think about it. This being came to me on my left side. The bed was up against the wall. The bunk beds was up against the wall. So, this includes my encounter. Thank you for all for listening. I want to say thank you wherever you are in the world. I'm sorry I came on a video the way I did, but it's kind of funny to me how people pick and choose what they listen to, which is by their right. But you know, all information is good information, whether it can be proven or not proven. You know, but I I think people should just at least hear people out and hear what they have to say, not just dis- disclose them, just discard them after listening to the looking at the title. And this is why I kind of changed the title, and then finally I said, you know what, forget it. I just put the title on there, and people just didn't want to hear it. So, but I want to apologize for how it came out because it just bothers me that people just pick and choose when it comes to content and listening to content when they really don't know what it's all about. Because when people are doing content, things change in the middle of that content. It's just like someone say something, speak something in one person's ear, and by the time it gets down to the end, it's something different completely. So when someone is doing content, doesn't mean it's going to stay on the same line of that same what they're talking about. It's going to change. It's going to change, and it's going to change for something that somebody needs to hear. It doesn't. A person does not stick to just one topic. Just like I just switched the topic now. A person doesn't just listen to just one topic. It switches within their whole conversation because they're trying to get you to understand something, um, why they're doing what, and they're giving you scenarios, they're giving you this, they're giving you that, they're giving you a roundabout way or beat a hedge or whatever you want to call it, just to get you to understand what they're trying to say, or they'll reference something to something else, to get you to see the correlation. Um, yeah, so this is what you know I wanted to come on and say. So please forgive me about earlier because it kind of disturbs me. When we talking about spiritual and holiness, it's cool, but when they talk about Star Family, it's not cool. They don't want to hear about it. But like I said, when the government get done destroying this world, and I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm talking about other governments too, other kings. When they get done trying to destroy this world, these people, they run around frantic, they looking for help, they looking up and yelling for Jesus and God and all this other kind of stuff. But when you don't want to hear anything someone has to say about Star Family, it's not right. You're not the only one in this galaxy. I knew that since I was a young child. But people want to close a blind eye. And they've already stated that UAPs and all this other kind of stuff, and Roswell and New Mexico and these other places like Lockheed Martin and Nellis Air Force Base. I mean, yeah, they've already put it on the wire that there are extraterrestrials that are around. But these are the ones that are around. They don't have good intentions. And I forgot one other thing. People talk about the Northern Lights. I did see, and people that may know what I'm talking about. I know there are some of you out there that's already seen this one, seen the movie V. But I literally saw the V-shaped crab pass right up over my cousin's apartment complex. It was quiet. I tried to take a picture of this crab, but my phone just wasn't working. And this is the exact phone that they burned. This is the phone I was using, and I still have it. This is the phone that they burnt. That I meant to show it this earlier, but this is the phone that they burnt um, when I was trying to do qigong. This is the phone I was using, and they burned the hell out of it. They burnt they burnt the battery. They was trying to make sure that video wouldn't come out or I wouldn't be able to film. But I had that extra, you know, uh, battery pack, and they wasn't having it, so they just interrupted completely made sure that it wouldn't be seen on you on Facebook. But yeah, I saw that V-shaped craft, and it was flying up overhead, and it was like really, really, really low. You could, I mean, not low. It was low, like I could see it. It was close to the house, maybe like I don't know, maybe about 100 feet, maybe higher, 200 feet, 300 feet, maybe 500 feet high, up above my head. But I could see it, and it was just quiet. You didn't hear no noise or nothing. It just flew like stealth. It was like it was blended with the night, but I saw it. But it was the V-shaped craft. And the first thing that came to my head was the movie V. It's like, wow. I'm telling my age now, but anyway. But this is conclude my video. That you could say that was the seventh encounter. Well, this includes my video. I'm gonna leave this here. Like, subscribe, share. Each one teach one. I also heard a woman saying when people are on TikTok talking about sharing their videos and saying share my video and like my video, she's like, that's like begging. That makes you look, I don't know, desperate or something like that. She was trying to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Share and like. Each one teach one. I'm trying to reach my hand out as far as I can, all the way across the land, all the way across the land, all around this whole entire planet. I'm trying to reach my hand. So if you're hearing me wherever you are, just give a shout out and let me know you're there. Um, Let me know where shouting from. And yeah, uh, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If it's night where you are, hopefully you're having a great night. This is it for me for today. Sorry. Um, don't know when I'll be back on to do another video, but I want to thank my subscribers, old and new. Thank you. All information is good information. May not be good for some other people, but pass it along. You never know who it may help. So, ancestor of the carrion race and lion race, Lion of Judah, out.